Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to CIGRE Chat here on Thursday morning. I am here with Freddie from Jacobs. Good morning, Freddie. How are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
I am well. The sponsors of last night's soiree up in the Rain Station Forest up there. How was your night?
It was really, really good. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a good trip up there. Saw lots of animals, cultural events. Got stuck in the army duck.
Oh, you were one of the ones that
we were the army duck.
one of the sitting ducks.
Sitting ducks.
That's it. I heard there was a lot of duck puns going on during that.
Yeah, and the funniest was how they tried to keep us calm while they had to transfer us from one to the other. You know, it's like, oh, we do it all the time. You don't worry. You know, the Crocs are not here. Yeah. It'll be fine.
What Crocs? What Crocs?
No, exactly. It was really good.
You could see the driver going, I'll go first.
No, but it was really good, man. I really enjoyed the evening. I thought it was a really nice place to have it as well. It's a sort of bit of Queensland and with the cultural bit of the history and the culture of this. So I thought,
I thought it was a great night. And thanks for Jacobs for sponsoring that.
It was great. So we're really proud to be one of the sponsors for the event. And CIGRE is really important event for our industry. So it's great to support it.
It's fantastic. Actually, while we're talking about Jacobs, tell us a little bit about Jacobs Group.
So Jacobs Group, international group, work in 40 countries, about 60,000 people, about $15 billion a year turnover, so fairly big organization. Provide a range of professional services, everything from advisory services all the way through to construction in some sectors. Big in project management, delivery in particular. But one of the things that we're really proud of in Jacobs is bringing domain-specific knowledge to those projects. So we can not only deliver them in a generic way, but we bring engineering. So for example, our T&D teams all over the world, pretty big part of our business now, a growing part of our business. Here in the Asia-Pacific region alone, we've got about 150 people here in Australia, we've got about 170 in the rest of the Asia region, and about 50 in New Zealand. So it's a pretty big team just here in this part of the world.
Oh, fantastic! Good to see. So from Jacobs is a global thought leader.
Yep.
What do you see as the challenges that we're currently facing?
So in our sector, the biggest problem is how do we achieve the decarbonisation of our energy systems, and that's a massive challenge. So IEA sort of fortunately publishes figures every year of what we should be spending and how much we are actually spending.
How much are we spending right now?
Okay, so right now we're spending $1.7 trillion a year.
And what should we be spending?
$4 trillion.
Okay, that's a big difference.
There's a big gap.
How do we go from 1.7 to $4 trillion?
Yes, yeah. How? So you can't do it in one way. There's no silver bullet. So the first thing to recognize is that it's different in different parts of the world. So in developed economies, the ask is different from less developed economies. So in Europe, for example, we've already got massive transmission systems, a lot of infrastructure. So how we're going to do it is going to be different from countries where there's no infrastructure yet. So that's the first thing to recognize. The second thing to recognize is that it comes at all levels. So it involves government, it involves the regulators who decide how we're going to deliver these programs. And then it also involves the engineering and how we do it at the very end of that process. So we operate at all those levels. So we help our clients, for example, in some countries, they're regulatory sandpits. So we can help our clients go talk to the regulators and say, we want to try something different. We think there's a way to help us access that sort of project depth so we can spend a bit more of that $4 trillion and deliver quicker. But to do that, we have to change some of the rules, and we help them with at that level. Sort of at the next tier down, we help organizations think about how you're going to deliver the projects once you figure out what you need to do. Very large programs of work all over the world now. How do we deliver those more efficiently? How do we consider our supply chains in particular? So I'm sure you heard a lot this week about supply chains. Yeah. So in any industry, to more than double the depth of the supply chain overnight is a really big ask. So how do we work with our supply chain partners? And that goes back to some of the regulatory issues, giving everybody forward visibility of the work that's going to happen so they can confidently develop the resources and then the manufacturing capability to be able to supply that demand. So that's a really big part of it. But then in the end, we've also got to think really hard about the technical stuff that we do, and that's what CIGRE does really well. So how do we actually go about doing stuff better? Are we delivering the right sort of solutions for the challenge? And if not, what can we do better? What is out there? So don't be scared to learn from other sectors. Again, as Jacobs, because we deliver across so many sectors, always looking around, say, how are they doing it in water, how are they doing it in transportation, and also from that very top layer is the regulation, the targets, everything else being set up differently, which allows them to deliver in a more efficient way. So that's sort of our approach here.
You talked about the technical side of things there. You've actually got two people that are presenting here at the conference. Tell us more about those.
So we've got one paper that we've released, the white paper this week, which is about decarbonisation of substations. So how do we, if we're going to build a lot more infrastructure, we've also got to make sure that infrastructure has as little greenhouse gas emissions associated with it as possible. So because else we're just adding to the problem. So it's really important part. So we've released the white paper. And Laura Crooker is here this week, is presenting that on behalf of the team that's authored that white paper. We've got Daniel here, who's also then a little bit more on the technical side, talking about 3D models and how we use 3D models better to deliver and develop infrastructure. So when we design things,
So when you say 3D models, the first thing that pops into my head is you've got like a little resin printer that are printing 3D models.
So there's 3D models in the design environment. So on your computer, when you design it, instead of just drawing things on one surface, you draw it as a 3D thing. Now, there's nothing new about that. We've been doing that for quite a while, but it's taking that to the next stage. How do we use it better? So one of the big benefits, and then there are others here who are showing that, is it allows you, for example, you could then integrate it with, sorry, this is not what Daniel's paper is about, by the way, but you can then use it with virtual headsets to show the people who are going to operate the equipment what it'll look like. They can walk through the space. You can see you can see how you're going to fit equipment in and so on. So that's like one of the examples of where we can design things better, so that when we get to delivery, it's much more efficient. We don't have to then figure things out while we're on site. We've already anticipated all the problems. Accelerates the program, allows us as an industry to spend more money quickly, which isn't the aim. The aim is to create more infrastructure, but it allows us to get to that $4 trillion number.
Well, that's what I find. Like what I've found over the last few days is that there seems to be, with the infrastructure, do you agree there's got to be more collaboration there?
Correct, yeah. So and that's why I say this is a problem throughout this, sort of a vertical problem and a horizontal problem. We've got to align a little bit what we want, the targets that government set, and how regulation then changes that into a plan or some sort of strategy, and then how we at the bottom deliver that strategy is going to be a little bit better, but also then across how we work together with our clients or big utilities and asset owners, but also the people connecting to the networks, how we work with them, work with their supply chains, work with their partners. We've got to learn to be a lot more efficient, and you only do that by talking to each other and collaborating a little bit more.
Yeah. Now, something we spoke about the other day, and I'm very excited about this, is energy from space. Yeah. This is such an innovative idea. Can you tell us more what Jacob's doing in this field?
It's very, very early stuff. So it's always important in any industry to support very early. So we talk about technology readiness levels, from the NASA scale. So it's really important to be involved in some early stuff to support those organizations in developing their equipment. So one of the ideas that's been around for quite a long time really is about putting large solar generators in space and then generating the power and transmitting it down. You're probably using something in the microwave bands. So we're working on one of those a little bit, supporting some of the development and seeing how far that can go. So really important stuff, because one of the things, one of the challenges we'll have going forward is with solar generation. So of course solar panels only generate when the sun is shining where you are.
Yeah.
So when it's night, you can't generate power there. But if you've got something that's a little bit further out into space, it can cover those periods of time a little bit better. But obviously a lot of technological challenges, a lot of practicalities. So I think some of the things that we're starting to look at now is what is the real practicality of doing something like that? Can it operate in the same environment as other things, aircraft, existing power lines, and so on? So how do we do that? So I think we can't leave any stone unturned. I think we have to go back, look at some of those ideas that have been around maybe for 100 years or so, say again, have we moved forward? So, on the space generation thing, for one of the things, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they're talking about tethering some of these stations to the Earth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so with nano carbon tethers, you can tether the satellites to the Earth potentially in the future. So again, an idea that's been around for a very long time. That why don't we just have elevators up to but now the materials are starting to be there. So those things are coming back. No, it's not a solution for. Our big challenge is to get to 2030. 2035, which is when a lot of organisations have quite rightly set very, very big goals for decarbonisation. Really, really important stuff. So we need to get there first, and that's the big ask. But in 10, 20 years' time, we're going to have to look for the next tier of solutions.
A lot of challenges to there, but the future, who knows what's going to happen there.
And it's a really exciting time, actually, in an industry which hasn't always been that thrilling, I'll be honest. It's suddenly to be the focus of everybody's question, it's been a bit flattering in some ways, to have people from government come and ask us, what do we think? Why can't we do it quicker? How do we fix it? It's been really, really good. So I think, but it goes back to one of the other things you asked about how do we accelerate. Big thing is people. And to attract people is much easier if your industry is front and center. And again, CIGRE are really good at that, promoting our industry out to public, encouraging young engineers to join us. And we talked about this earlier in the week. The gender imbalance in our sector is
massive. What is it? Is it 20%?
20%.
That is, Well, hopefully we can get that up.
Yeah, because like I said to you the other day, that means we almost there's 80% of one half of our workforce we're missing.
What that is opportunity.
It is an opportunity. It's a massive opportunity. And again, so Lara, who's here involved with Women in Engineering, she was at the breakfast on Tuesday morning, and Lara and others in the organisation really good and encouraging young women to join our sector. And there's a bit of problem still across lots of branches of engineering. So it's to make sure, get out there, all of us, talk to young people, encourage them to join us, and to explain to them why this is important. This isn't about building power lines and substations, and this is about saving the planet.
It is.
So it's easy.
Any final words you want to say to the delegates here?
If those of you haven't done it yet, please pop down to our booth, down stands 1 and 2. Come see us. If you want to talk about working with us, for us, please.
You have got some job opportunities open.
Lots of job opportunities. If you want to come down, we can talk to you about that. We can show you where to look for them. Also, please download our white paper. That will be great. And just thank you very much to CIGRE for running an excellent event. So I think it's been a really, really good week. Thanks to the people of Cairns. Really enjoyed being here this week. Quite sad to go this morning actually when I was packing up my bag. So it's been an excellent.
I like how you got the pink shirt. Pink shirt email this morning.
We corresponded about it.
That's it. Well, there you go, folks. If you want to work and join an awesome group of innovative thought leaders, please go see Jacob's group down in booth 1 and 2 here at the symposium. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Freddie.
Thank you
Absolute pleasure.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the symposium. We'll be back at lunchtime with more CIGRE chat. See you soon.